Alright, I finished my Diablo 4 weekend and I wanted to go ahead and take a look at my character first. I decided I wanted to make a bald, ugly she-he thing, and I made this. I figured this little outfit here perfectly encapsulates the confusion between whether this is a vagina or a penis underneath this little flap here. We'll never know. It won't let me rotate up and down. So I made this ugly little tough bitch. All right. I have no clue what gear is good, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just kind of highlight all my little pieces here. I'm about half ancestral, half sacred. I haven't gotten full things. This is one of the main things I'm using. Your rain of arrows is always imbued with all imbuements at once. +1 to all imbuement skills. I obviously want to get this to +2, this amulet. That's why I haven't upgraded it or anything like that. Well, upgraded it seriously. Once I get a +2 to all imbuements, it's going to make it even stronger. Lucky hit. Damaging a poisoned enemy with a shadow imbued skill has a 75% chance to create a toxic explosion. Now, there's, I think, like multiple variations of this damaging an enemy, but I poison enemies quite a bit, and this creates little shadow explosions. And then when I shoot the rain of arrows, they all explode with those shadow explosions because each one is imbued 3 times. Obviously, I want to use one of these, but one of the other sides. So there's one that's like damage a cold enemy, create an explosion. So I want to get a second one of those rings for this. But for now, this is my best ring. If a core skill hits 5 or more enemies, 35% of the resources refunded. That just makes the twin blades get a lot of refund. Now, for the twin blades, one of the main reasons I'm using twin blades, aside from the fact that it's a good skill, is I got these pair of gloves here, which do +4 to the rank of twin blades. And 12% critical strike chance. So these are really good gloves. I wish they didn't have the willpower. I wish I had something else other than willpower. I like the all stat, but you know, willpower to me is a wasted stat. But I re-rolled to get crit, and I can't get willpower. But anyways, there's a lot of different ways you can run it. For the Paragon, I just have these 2 boards. I'm not very far in terms of my level. Level 67. I haven't done any of the additional stuff to get all that extra Paragon. And let's just run an area right here. Let's do some PvP zone, fight some people. Now, I'm playing this build because I enjoy it. Using Rain of Arrows is extremely satisfying, and it just feels good. Just feels good. Typically, I use a mouse clicker. Auto clicker? All right, I do have my auto clicker. It's going to click button 1 and 2 on a 2-second interval. So let's go ahead and start that. 1 and 2 is going to be Poison Imbue and Dark Shroud. 3 is my Rain of Arrows. This is my dash, Puncture, Twisting Blades with the modification so they spin in circles. Those are the skills I'm using. Now, I don't really like the horse in this game. It's designed a little wonky, a little buggy. Obviously, it's better than having to walk everywhere, but auto-click obviously makes me jump off a lot. Rain of Arrows looks pretty spectacular. You can see my damage is it's pretty good. You saw like a 50,000 there. 35,000. Let's group up some people and let's start the show. So that right there is the big boy. And I have the skill that reduces cooldown duration. So that way I can use that more and more. So the strategy is you group them together. You hit them with your big boy skill. Ancestral bow. Nice. You hit them with your big boy skill. And then you run around and you group more people together. I mostly just use Twisting Blades for single target. And it's pretty damn strong for single target. Especially once you get your imbuements up. But the Rain of Arrows is the most enjoyable part of it. So Rain of Arrows is building up. Let me try to group some enemies together. It's a little difficult to group them together. Some classes have skills that groups enemies together. This character doesn't. Hit that Rain of Arrows. And went the wrong direction. Still gets the bulk of the work done. Getting the rain of arrows to trigger the right direction can be a bit of a problem. And you have died. And your equipment is close to breaking. So dying happens a lot for this build because the only CC mitigation I have is becoming injured while crowd controlled grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds on a cooldown. And beyond that, I have no CC control, so dying is very common. Luckily, it's Diablo 4, so dying means nothing. The auto clicker is kind of annoying for the horse too, because you just constantly jump off your horse, as you saw. So, gotta turn it off when you want to ride your horsey. I don't know what other players are building in terms of demon hunters, but when I'm grouped up, I seem to be doing either the most damage or damn close. I've seen a couple barbs that are doing something wonky, where they're able to do massive damage. But beyond that, my damage seems to be on par or above other players in the game. So I'm doing something right, even though I don't know what exactly I'm doing. I'm doing something right. But most importantly, the build is extremely fun because of that rain of arrows. I've seen other people use the shadow, and I haven't seen anyone using rain of arrows. I don't know why. Rain of arrows feels fantastic. It looks fantastic. It is fantastic. Maybe I'm just the only one who likes rain of arrows. I don't know what's up. Or probably everyone's just trying to experiment or find a meta and follow what other people say, so no one's really, experimenting. But when you get a good pop off of this raining arrows, it just feels great. That's a big crowd. Nice. The cooldowns on all of your mobility, it feels like mobility is just highly cucked in this game. The cooldown of all the mobility skills are way too low. Way too low. So half the time you're just waiting for your mobility to try to be able to escape. And since I don't have a lot of crowd control reduction, I have to rely on my mobility skills to get me out of danger. And since the cooldowns are so damn high, and this mobility here is kind of lame, this little dodge. Alright, we got rain of arrows again. Let's group them together. Pop the rain of arrows. Boop. And blow it down. It's a lot of fun. Right there, I died. I don't know how. I rarely know how I die in this game. It's a little bit rippy. If you play cautiously, you can not die. I'm trying to demo the coolness of the rain of arrows. Obviously, I'm packing big groups together, and I'm dying. But I go to the hell zones a lot. And in the hell zones, you could stack up a bunch of the resource that's available there and then buy stuff. And I'm able to survive well enough to get the mystery bucket every time I go in there. And the mystery bucket is 175 of those little currencies. And it just gives you a random set of stuff. And it's really nice because it's usually a lot of legendaries in there. I don't need to go to my body, but I kind of want to kill those people that killed me. A little bit of revenge. All right, jump off your horse, whatever. There's no one even there. In terms of the game, it's fun. I don't really know what to do. I don't know the objective of the end game. I don't know why I should keep playing beyond number go up. So that's a little weird. I don't really care about number go up that much. Well, yeah, let's just extract what I got. Little 4,000, nice little small. Oh, I gotta hold it. There's a few enemy types that are extremely annoying. That fire type's pretty bad because it has an explosion. The armor mitigation, or the high armor shield guys, are really annoying. I can circumvent that with the poison imbuement or a rain of arrows. But, what up, dude?
You calling sick, huh?
No, I'm just making a quick video about my build.
Oh, okay, dude. All
And
right,
now
man. Well,
you're in the video.
oh, fantastic. Hello.
Hello. All right. I'm doing
Hey,
just
man.
a quick little demo.
All right, cool, man. I'll talk to you later.
I'll be on at 4.
Sweet.
I, I I've been running in a group of 2 other people. Group play has been pretty great. I wanted to hate this game with a fiery passion, and I thought it was going to be a shit show. It really wasn't. Probably one of the best releases of this type of game I've ever seen, really. Flawless performance. It's just excellent the entire time. No frame dips. I've had a couple disconnects, some lag dragging, but beyond that, highly impressed. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to hate on this game so damn much is for this dash ability, this little Q thing, where you hit a button and it does an action for you, like climb across the ropes or slide or crouch. I really hate that. It's unnecessary. It's unneeded. It's artificial gameplay, and there's nothing there. I wish they would have added a slide button or a jump button. So instead of walking to a ledge and then hitting a button for the game to play itself, you could actually climb the ledge with some type of mechanic. But they didn't want to do that. All right, let's pack them up. Hit them with this rain of arrows. It's just satisfying. I like it. And as you can see, my damage is good enough. Every now and then I get into some serious trouble, but for the most part, the damage is like right there. Sometimes you just get surrounded. And I think there's something in the game that makes it so you can't pop your potions, or it gives you like a cooldown on your potion pops. There's so much in jump off the horse, so much in this game that I don't really know. Like if I pop my potion, which I have on spacebar, I have 11 of them. It's usually got like a 2-second cooldown on it. So let's have some enemies hit me. And now it has 8 seconds. But sometimes it has 2 seconds. Sometimes it has 8 seconds. I don't really understand why the potion time is different in different instances. But that's pretty interesting. Or maybe it's always 8 and I'm a crazy person. But I swear sometimes I'm popping it every like 2 seconds. Now, that triple imbue is really nice. So because I like the playstyle of the Rain of Arrows, being able to have a big old pop and a large damage AoE dealer, because I like that playstyle, I think I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to try to find a bunch of gear that pumps up the levels of the imbuements. And one of the things that makes this game a little rough is you can only use 6 skills. And coming from Path of Exile, you can use a lot more than 6 skills. But it would be nice to be able to pop 2 more skills of those imbuements, so I can do all 3 imbuements at all times instead of just 1. But because of the way I play, that dash is basically mandatory to get me out of shit like that, and this dash isn't good enough. I mean, maybe it is, but it's just not fast enough. And I really hate the shadow dash because you have to target an enemy, and sometimes I don't want to target an enemy. I want mobility without targeting. Right now, I want a dash to get to the next pack, and I don't want to have a dash skill that only targets enemies, so that's kind of shitty. But I guess they had to make a distinguishment between that and dash. Without that, no one would use dash. Actually, I have no clue what other people are doing. I haven't watched any other builds. I've only watched mine. Fire. I haven't paid attention to any of my resistances. Let's take a look at my attack power, 7,500, which means absolutely nothing. But I do have some pretty powerful weapons. This weapon is extremely powerful, and this is only hitting with the Rain of Arrows. So I don't care about the attack speed. All I care about is that 2,000 to 3,000 damage per hit, which is pretty thick. And I just hit my mic. This is my most powerful weapon for the one-hander. I don't know about the attack power stuff, but it's the only one I've leveled up all the way because I feel it's probably good enough to level up all the way. It has all the stats I need. Critical damage, close range, almost. Oh, it is maxed at damage to close range enemies, damage to slowed enemies. I don't really slow, but when I'm in groups, other people slow. Ultimate skill damage, 30%, extremely good. Core skill damage, 28%, which is extremely good. And so this weapon, it was good enough to upgrade all the way. I'll probably have this weapon through the entire game. This one, not so much. I haven't decided what to anoint on here yet, so that's why it's still yellow. I'm going to anoint something. I just don't know what it is at the moment. And it's going to give me a ton of damage when I anoint that eventually. Oh, yeah, I was going to look at the skills. Bum, bum, bum. Profile. Not profile. Getting to where the actual stats that matter. What the hell is this? Okay. Getting to the actual stats that matter is a little more cumbersome than I'd like. Alright, so my resistances are all pretty bad, but poison resistance is terrible. So anyone I fight that's poison, that stuff really hurts. But I do have some damage reduction from close, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned. So I get a lot of damage reduction from all of that stuff. I don't know why I'm healing negative 35% from potions. It's probably just from the difficulty level. Anyways, those are my stats. I don't think there's like a POB or anything I can do to link it. Maybe I can link my profile and you can look at it. But again, I don't know if this is good. I have no frame of reference. I haven't looked at anything on the interwebs. I haven't done any research into the game. I've just played it basically nonstop since it's been out whenever I'm not working. Taking my lunch right now to make this video, and then I'll pop back on at like 4. So see, when you get surrounded, I kind of wanted to shoot that the other direction, but it does a pretty good job of overlapping the damage on where your face is, on your main character. This is supposed to be like a PvP zone, but I've never seen another human in the PvP zone, so I don't know. And obviously I'm on the highest difficulty. I don't know why that's obvious, but I am on the highest difficulty. See, look how that cooldown on the dash. So long. It's inappropriate. It is offensive. So I think I'm going to be stacking cooldown reduction. I think that's going to be a priority stat that I try to find. I haven't done anything important or cool with the Paragon board yet. I've just been slamming some damage reduction wherever I can find it. I got 10% damage reduction when you're wielding a melee weapon, which is I am. And then I have 10% close range damage reduction. So damage reduction seems to be one of my higher priority stats, just a flat damage reduction. I'm assuming it applies to resistances as well, so you can either focus on resistances or flat damage reduction or global damage reduction. I think the global damage reduction is probably going to be superior at the start. Eventually you're going to want to pimp out all your resistances. But I think just getting that global damage reduction is probably going to be a bit stronger because it applies to everything. But I don't know. Game's new. Experimentation. But when I play on a more serious note and with the team, I do a little worse with the team because my damage is so high that when I get in a team of people, their damage isn't as good. So they really come in handy for their CC abilities and grouping abilities. But beyond that, they are mostly a hindrance. All the maps are easier when I'm by myself because I can just pop that and kill everything. And there's less life when I'm not in a group, and it's just a little bit easier. Experience from launch. I give it like probably a 9 out of 10. That's just a few. Obviously, I have my gripes about this auto playing, but the CCC is a little heavy-handed, and some of the cooldown reductions should be higher. Right now, I can't use a potion, and there's like no life leech. There's no life gain on hit. I have a little bit of life leech on one of my nodes, but there's no, like, as far as I've seen, there's no life leech on any of the items. See, right now I'm just kind of running back, getting ready to pop my fun skill. Fun skill. Boop. And I've always been a fan of the Diablo 3 playstyle where you kind of run around and group up enemies and hit them with the big ult. I've enjoyed that playstyle. See, that potion did nothing. It feels like my potions are all cucked. Feels like the way to restore life is just not very good in this game. Which is kind of good. But the enemies have too many CC elements, and it's not a good enough way to reduce CC elements. A lot of the annoying things I dislike about ARPGs are all in here, pretty much. I kind of like they got rid of the town portals, and you just hit T, and you got free town portals, so you don't have to have town portal scrolls. But let me try to think on the top of my head how many layers of CC the enemies have. They have a generic slow, which is absolutely awful when you get slowed. They have fear. They have a root. They have a stun. They have knockdown. They have... Might be it. I think there's more. But it's too much CC. It is really bad. Makes it very unenjoyable, in my opinion. Also don't like that they make the core skill mandatory. I wish you can just not allocate a core skill. Obviously, I can remove it and then put something else on. So right now I'm damaged by something. I don't know what it is. That's like a red damage on there. This is one of those shielded enemies that takes a ton of reduced damage from me. It's not full immunity like Diablo 2 had full immunity, but it's pretty close to full immunity, these shielded guys. And I can get past that shield with those imbuements that I have. But the regular, if all my cooldowns are on, those shielded dudes take forever to kill. I'm pretty sure if you focus on movement speed, you could probably outrun a horse. The horses are fast when you're able to dash and there's no enemies around. But with enough cooldown reduction and enough movement speed, I think people are going to be able to get the rogue faster than the horse, which would be great, because then I never have to use the horse. Don't really love the horse mechanics. I don't have experience with mounts in other games. I've never played an action role-playing game with a mount. This is the first one. But the most recent game I played with a horse was Elden Ring, and Elden Ring horse was so much better. You have a jump on it, controlled better, played better. I like the Elden Ring's horse. Let's get a nice little extraction going. Constant bloodshed has altered the following combat area. Well, I've never seen that before. Well, that explains plus 8 seconds on potion cooldown. Look at that. I was just talking about how my potions were so slow. I didn't realize that it even had that. Let me check what's this other one do. Blood mark. Slow drip them in so I can't read this. They're inside a field, blood mark. Oh, that's just saying PvP, I think. But PvP, I mean, the game seems to be empty for the most part. They're obviously limiting how many people can join an individual server, and because of that, you just don't really see, unless there's just not that many people in the hardest difficulty. That could be it, but I have yet to run into a single person on PvP, so I have no opinions on PvP. See, I wanted that to go up. That'd be my biggest complaint. But I'm using the skill. Whenever I spend 100 resource, it reduces the cooldown of all my skills by 4, which is extremely nice for using Rain of Arrows. And I can use this build without Rain of Arrows, but when I mob them up like this, the build doesn't quite have the AoE to properly clear the entire thing. But when I pop the Rain of Arrows with the imbuement modifications on them, it freezes everything, it stuns everything. So let's pop it. And then I can dash into the group and get the work done. I dashed a little too far. That was a bad example because I didn't control my dash as much as I should have. One more more second. I really like that playstyle. So whether it is or is not a good build, I don't know. I'd have to see other people's builds, but I do enjoy playing it. I enjoy the playstyle. I like roguing around, avoiding hits, dodging, charging up, and then popping it. Of course, it's the armored guy, armored bros that are still alive. Oh, PvP fields. You must, wait, what? You must be blood marked to use. I don't know what blood mark means. Does that mean I have to kill somebody? Probably means I have to kill somebody. But nobody exists. So I can't kill somebody if nobody exists. What do you guys think? Is my damage good? It's hard to say. It feels like I'm doing pretty good damage. I want ways to regenerate more resource, and it's awkward that Puncture doesn't generate resources the way I currently have it. Now, there's a mod that'll allow it to generate resource when I hit, I think, 7. And I think I have it. No, I don't. I'm not sure if I have it allocated, but I want to have it allocated. The poison damage is actually surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting the poison damage to be as strong and as good as it is, but really does round out this build very nicely. See, that guy's all poisoned out and gonna die from poison. And I like the way they show poison, so you can see how much damage is allocated to be taken from poison. So you can actually see, okay, he has enough poison to die. Let me charge up my rain of arrows before I go fight that bossy guy. Let's go, bossy guy. I see you walking around, acting all big and tough. See, he's all poisoned out, so I can just leave him. So far, it seems like I've been able to do most of content, but there is a level 100 boss that I came into, Mirror of Lilith, and there's gotta be some type of damage modifiers for what level you're on. So if you're on level 70 and you try to fight a level 100 enemy, there's some kind of base modifier based on your level. So like you do 5% reduced damage to enemies based on how many levels are above you, and since that enemy is like 20 levels above me, I do no damage, and they do all the damage. I don't really like that kind of mechanic, that kind of gatekeeping, because it kind of eliminates the whole point of your build if only thing that really matters is level. Well, not the only thing that really matters. No matter how strong you get your character, if the enemy's levels are higher than yours, you're not going to be able to kill them. Kind of defeats a lot of the purpose of gearing up, but it might make it pretty good for balance. Apparently they nerfed the skill that I'm using. I don't even notice. I didn't notice the nerf happen. It did a lot of damage before the nerf. It does a lot of damage after the nerf. So whatever they did to nerf it, it still works just fine. In terms of crits, when I'm in a group and they have a bunch of modifiers on it, I've seen 200,000 damage on some of my crits. That's the absolute max, but typically it's right in the 50,000 range. When I'm fighting a boss in a group and by myself, I think I'm seeing like some pretty good 20,000, pretty regular. There's a 31. So the damage is good. The rogue is good. In terms of skills, I'll just go to town and talk about some of the skills. Kind of let down. It's nice because it creates a lot of visual clarity with some of the skills, but it's a bit of a letdown in terms of what you actually have available to you as a rogue. So as a rogue, your base skills, puncture is extremely cool. It's a lot like Impale from Diablo 3, so I really like puncture. Uh, Heartseeker is okay. The Seek is kind of nice, but it's a little awkward to pull off because of the way the game kind of moves. But it's okay, just okay. This one's good simply because it applies vulnerability every third cast, but I don't really like to cast a basic skill 3 times and then hit, especially with bows, because bows attack speeds are so slow. So this one's not that good. This one's not that good. These two are close range, so it's not that good when you're kind of messing around. This guy's really good, but only with the modification. Without the modification, it's really awkward and it's not that good to use. Barrage is bad, real bad. It's an AoE, doesn't do a lot of damage. This is pretty good for single target, and it's kind of fun to use, but when you get a large group of people, even when you have the one where rapid fire targets another enemies, it doesn't get the job done. Rapid fire doesn't get the job done. Penetrating shot doesn't get the job done. Flurry doesn't get the job done. So out of here, you kind of only really have these two skills, Twisting Blade and Rapid Fire, from what I've seen and explored with. These just don't quite cut it. They're not really that useful. Shadow Step is probably pretty good. I don't use it because it has to target an enemy, and I kind of only have the space for one, either Dash or Shadow Step. Since Dash doesn't target an enemy, Dash is what I choose. And obviously, I'm not going to be using this as an attack skill. This is purely mobility. And I wish it had a better cooldown. I can level it up a bit more to get a better cooldown on it, but I think those are wasted levels, especially given how little damage, a little cooldown recovery it has. Ideally, I'd want to be getting this on one of my items, like a +4 to the level of Dash, and I can use Dash that way. I'm grabbing these boys for defense. Just one of these, and these. I might even pull this away. It's nice, but only time it's really useful is when you're in a huge battle. And when you're in a huge battle, you get hit so frequently that you don't really have this buff up that often. So this is 3 points I could reallocate if I really wanted to. And then I could apply a second. Instead of running Dark Shroud, I can run either Cold or Shadow Imbue and have them auto-pop. It'll be more damage. But damage seems to be fine, so I've been focusing a little bit more on survivability. Survivability is basically going to be the only thing I focus on going forward. Just try to get my survivability up. One of the good things when you're running the maps and you only have 4 revives left, if you don't revive at checkpoint and you have someone pick you up, it doesn't count. So we've been clearing some pretty high-end stuff because we've been able to revive each other. I've been using Victimize. I'm not exactly sure what's the best. I like Victimize because it works for everything. It works for bows. It works for regular attacks. Momentum also does it as well, but it mostly works for cutthroat skills. And when you hit stun and frozen or enemies from behind, and it's not up enough for me to enjoy it as much as Victimize. I think Victimize is where it's at. Exposure might be kind of cool, but I haven't tried it out yet. Precision is awesome if you're only using bows, and close quarters is pretty trash. The reason close quarters is trash is attack speed is basically useless in this game because your generators, your basic skills, do no damage, literally nothing. There's no point in doing this. The only reason I do it is supply vulnerability when you hit an enemy with 3. And so Twisting Blades is limited by the amount of mana you have. So having fast attack speed is pointless as a rogue. It might be quality of life, but you're really not going to be upping your damage with attack speed unless the Twisting Blades is going to proc more with higher attack speed, but I don't think that is the case. So attack speed is useless. Now, if you find a way to get enough resource generation to be able to permanently cast this without running out of resource, then attack speed is useful. But as it currently stands, this is a dead node. Close quarters is a dead node because attack speed is not very useful. And then Rain of Arrows is just so good. It just feels so good. I don't even have, the only thing for Rain of Arrows I have on here is this. I don't know if that's the only mod that makes Rain of Arrows better, but I haven't seen any other stuff to pimp out Rain of Arrows. And if I get another unique or legendary to make Rain of Arrows better, it's just going to get better. It's just going to be fantastic. But a big problem I kind of have is I don't really know why I would continue playing from here on out, other than number go up. I don't know the objective. I don't know what I'm striving towards. I don't know the reason to keep playing other than number go up. I'm going to keep playing because I'm having fun and number go up, but I don't really understand the point. That is all. Diablo 4, very nice, very good, very good job, Blizzard. I was expecting to hate you and just shit on you for your dog shit mechanic. Uh, this little dash thing and climb ladders and walk across rope and slide and crouch with just a button versus having an actual mechanic to do it. Um, it's super annoying, especially after coming from Breath of the Wild, which has infinite freedom. A game like Breath of the Wild lets you climb anywhere, lets you jump anywhere, and you're actually doing it. The game isn't doing it for you. Where less quality games like Uncharted and this game, Uncharted, you go to a ledge, you hit X, and he'll auto jump up the ledge, and you're not actually playing the game. It's basically a quick time event. You go to a spot, it triggers a quick time event, and then you hit the button for the quick time event. And I just think that's outdated game mechanics. So I was not feeling very excited about Diablo because if they're going to implement such an outdated game mechanic, I thought the rest of the game was just going to be dog shit, especially because they were super excited about implementing that piece of mechanic. But it didn't seem to have too much bearing on the rest of the development. And that is all. Later.